Something feels odd here. Be on your guard.
Anything goes as a trash. Now you see what I can do. Thanks, Shion.
Burn flame!
Right here. I got
Whatever you do, just stay away from the spores.
They smite with
Hurricane
lightning
Flame!
blade.
Going in, dirt!
You're mine. Ignite.
I'm out of
Make it
ammo.
rain.
I'll stop your movement.
And I'll stop your life. Not a chance.
Hurricane Flame!
Everlasting darkness. Negative death. Reflect. You're mine. You're mine. Lightning blade.
Going in.
You're mine. Execution.
Hurricane Flame!
Take this.
This one's mine.
Dragon
Not
Sword.
yet. Astral energy! Full throttle!
The Oath of the Renans, number 7.
Always replenish your stomach after a battle.
That certainly explains a lot about Balsef.
They're messing with you.
We've sure climbed up a long way, haven't we?
Watch your step ahead. With no fencing in place, it would be quite...
An opponent like this should be easy. No escape!
Crescent moon! Power of water!
Captivity.
I never miss! Confiscated!
Leave the Admiral once to me.
Radiant blast!
Did you see this coming?
Flame!
Here I come!
Reload!
Crush! Execution! Win! Now or never.
By the power
Soaring
of
light
flame!
spear! Can't get out of
without a
this!
trace!
You're mine! Burn in hell!
Hurricane Vision!
Look Eternal devastation!
Glacial Spear!
I'm ready!
Pierce
Go!
evil!
Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade! Not a
Back into
chance!
the fray!
Your blade moves like silk. That's what my instincts take over. How fascinating.
Eternal devastation! Bloody howling!
Don't get complacent.
Come and face me! Here I come! Everlasting darkness! You're finished!
Radiant
Negative
Pieces!
Be careful, everyone! This one isn't normal!
Hold on to your arms! Here I come!
Flying freaks! Hit me Still! No further! Can you take care of them?
No sooner said than done.
Take this!
Back into the fray!
The flame inside me yearns to be let free!
Time to shine!
You're mine!
Glacial Spear.
Here's Evon! You'll soon see about that! This one's got your name on it!
Action to action. A merry distraction.
There's still more to go.
You must be tired of healing. I'm merely doing what I can to help. Glad you're on us. Good move.
Healing art! Look sharp!
Double Demon Fang! Megasonic Drop! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Radiant Hurricane Strike! Here! Going in! Here, let's
Try
go!
harder! Not a chance! Through escape!
Hurricane Strike! Not on my watch! Where are you going? Going in!
You're mine! You're finished!
I think the enemy's getting desperate.
Got them where we want them.
Don't keep your hand
Out
up.
of this! It's over!
Burning Strike!
The flame inside me yearns to be free!
Lancer!
Empty strike! Eat dirt! Catapult! You're mine! You're finished!
Hurricane Strike!
Eternal devastation!
Can you take it?
I'm not done! Eternal devastation!
Hurricane Annihilation! Here!
Win! Resonate with the earth! It's over!
This is in the sky is mine!
Try harder!
Where are you going?
Not here!
I'm gone!
I'm not done!
Izmir, get
Severing wind! Take this! It's over! Light burst forth!
Radiant Genesis!
Not a chance!
Lightning! Still falls! Here goes!
Shield and
Here I come!
This could be useful.
this. will make us even more formidable. I'll do my best!
Can't get out of this!
Reload!
Hurricane Slice!
Ignite! This one's gonna be tough! Severing wind! Here I come! Rising Falcon! Take this! Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Here, let me help.
Now! Take this!
Let me
You're
free
finished!
you.
Rising Falcon!
One more time.
Severing wind! You're mine! You're finished!
Rending you apart!
Severing wind! Soaring light spear!
So I still had room to grow. My... It worked. This must be the work of Providence.
What? Now?
It means destiny.
No choice!
Radiant light!
Now you see what I can do!
He who prepares.
There are currents.
Take this!
No matter what, nothing
Nearly
gets
done
past my
for.
shield.
Time to let it rip!
Guardian Field!
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Shine! Radiant light!
Ha! Eat dirt!
This one's mine. Dance in the
It's
wind.
over!
Air thrust.
I'll tear you apart! Now I'm in the green!
Away goes the
Looks like you came to my rescue again.
You need to be careful. With the blazing sword and with my thorns.
Shion.
Tempest Swirl.
Wind!
Watch
Fire come!
Celestial Rare. Glacial Shield.
Dragon Form!
Freeze Lancer.
Blue escape! Eternal devastation!
Lunar Blaster.
Take this! You're
Blah, blah,
finished!
blah. That's it. Holy Land.
This one keeps charging us!
That's what my shield's for. Get behind me.
Got it! I'll leave it to you! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno! This one's all mine! Ha! Ignite! From my gun!
It looks like you got this one covered. Here goes.
No escape! Eternal
Throbbed in pain.
Savior.
Where are you going?
Stop!
By the
Take this!
Eat this.
In a vine?
Here I come!
Freaking does it!
Take this!
Handle it.
No escape! Burn! Severing wind! Searing gale!
There you go. Don't let up.
Take this!
Oh! Now I'm real mad! Eat this!
Get toasty.
Bird strike!
Right. Next one.
Already on! Now I'm in the groove!
Eat
Lunar
this!
corruption. Holy Land. Get this. A whale.
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
You're mine! Ha!
Big blast!
Gale force.
That's the spot!
So much for sitting this fight out.
That wouldn't be a complaint.
Nope, that'd be silly. Take this!
Eternal devastation!
I'm on a roll now.
Here I come! You're finished!
No more playing nice!
Oh, now you're talking!
Soaring light spear! No! Can't end here!
Let the marksman handle it! A wailing dance of light divine! Magic hands back to the front!
Inferno punch! Here I come!
End like this.
Stay away from my friend!
Save you!
First
Take
aid!
this!
Eat this! Oh, dance in the wind!
Dragon Swarm!
Eat this!
Explosive ray! Here I come!
Talon Hurricane! Eagle Drive!
I'll bring you back! Eat first!
Just
I'll
the
bring you
dust!
back from death's abyss!
Oh, now I'm real mad!
Talon resuscitation! Here, let me help!
Go away!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
There's always room for improvement.
I found... found some equipment.
Let me take a look at it.
Can't get out of this! Anything in armor is all suffer inside.
Holy annihilation! Coming through! Do it!
Totally! In an instant! Impact Claw! We work well together.
Like a finely timed waltz.
Soaring light spear! I'm not done!
Now!
Now! Here I come! I'm ready! Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
There's more where that came from.
Break through!
Benediction light.
Here I come!
Malevolence! Arctic! Lunar corruption!
Wind!
Freeze Lancer! By the power of
Severing
We're
wind!
trying to keep up with the wolf!
Wind!
Burning!
Severing wind! Got fire!
I've got it! Let the marksman handle it!
Leave the ensnaring.
All yours!
Yeah!
Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
My turn. Anything in armor is all mine.
Soaring Light Spear!
Chain between heaven and earth. Here!
I'm ready! Sarah! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclops!
Dance in the wind!
You're burned!
In here!
It's over!
Annihilation!
Crush!
Now! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
Let's refrain from losing.
An opponent like this should be easy.
Can't get out of this!
Here! Burn
You're mine!
Dance
You're
in the
finished!
wind!
I'll smash you!
Catapult! In here! Go!
Dragon Form! Come from one, come on!
Power of water!
Explosive ring!
Now!
Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
My turn! Between heaven and
No
earth!
escape!
Bathed in blood. The enemy wields arts too.
We'll soon see about that!
Why aren't you human?
To stop you dying?
Crush! Severing Wing! Soaring Left
Ends now!
Onward!
Astral energy!
Say no more!
Our superiority was undeniable.
It feels invigorating to dominate a battle.
I was certain I saw you yawn.
Come now, I'm certainly not that relaxed.
Gotta break through! Your mark!
In a vine?
Magna now!
Not today!
This'll do, baby! It'll body slam us into next week! I'll be saving you!
Anything in armor is all mine. Armor won't save you.
Explosive ring! It's over!
Talent water of creation!
I'm just getting started.
No more Miss Nice Girl! Raging Storm!
Our arts are being interrupted.
Now I'm in the
Dance
groove.
in the wind!
Here I come!
More projectile time!
They smite! This one keeps charging us!
That's what my shield's for. Get behind me.
Got it! I'll leave it to you!
More
I owe you one.
projectile!
It's over!
Steel Force!
My turn!
Eat activity. Whirlwind snap.
Prepare to be time to let it rip! Wind!
Rip and tear.
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Benediction light.
Can't get out of this.
Take this! You're finished!
Beckon
Eat
into
this.
everlasting
I'll run you
darkness.
through.
Rending you apart.
Now you see what I can do.
Wind!
Bloody howling. Negative dirt.
Thunderblade! Cloud magic! I'm sorry. I'll bring you
Stay away from my friend! Struck! Wind! Take this! It's over!
I've still got some fight left in me. Seal! First aid!
There you go.
Get you all tucked away.
Ignite!
Reload!
Here I come!
In here!
Try this!
Healing circle!
I'm on a roll now.
I'm
Sorry to be a bother.
We've all got enough on our plates.
Yes, ma'am.
You require a hand.
I'll bring you back from death's abyss. Resuscitate Steel Force! Up and out!
Not done yet!
Back into the fray! Thunderblade!
Try harder! My turn!
Shattering of teeth. Attack time.
Severing Wind! Take this!
Good things come to an end.
Arts require
Swallow dare.
refocus. Raging
I'm on a roll now!
explosion!
Do it!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished! Now! Take this! First strike! Eternal devastation!
I really owe now I'm in the groove!
So much for sitting this fight out.
What is your complaint, I hear?
No, that is silly. That frickin'
A
does it!
wailing banshee of
By the
lightning!
power of water!
Annihilation!
Take this!
Look out
There!
there with
Severing wind!
I'm just getting started!
Rising
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw! I'll tear you apart! I'm just getting
Dragon
started!
form!
Ready
Try
and
this!
ready!
lightning orb!
Explosive
Banana,
ring!
let's go!
Burn! Here I could do without this pain.
No, it won't end like this.
You'll pay for that!
I can carve through armor!
It's on!
Get into the way! Here is annihilation!
You're
Now!
mine!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look who's in a bright and shiny mood.
Here?
It's here?
Yes. All the energy flowing through the wedge comes together and collects here.
Is that thing a Zoogle? Holy crap, it's huge!
A central core and a guardian?
Once we beat that thing, it'll stop the wedge from taking in any more astral energy, right?
It seems we're in for a fight regardless.
Here it comes.
Stay sharp, everyone!
Is there no end to what the Renans can cook up?
I don't know if that's a machine or what, but I do know it's pissing me off!
Watch yourself. There is no knowing what it is capable of.
Any other wisdom you want to pass along?
Negative gate!
Pierce evil!
You're mine!
Freeze laser!
Rising falcon!
Dance in the
You're
wind!
mine!
Bathed in blood.
Rending you a bloody holiday!
Our arts are being interrupted.
You're mine!
Air thrust! I'll heal you all!
Severing wind! Rending you apart! Bloody
Are you dying?
Right.
Hurricane thrust!
Rending you apart! Bloody hell!
Wind! Tear!
Negative gate!
The flame inside me yearns to be let free!
Reflect on God's sake.
Rising falcon!
Glacial spear. Pierce evil. Dance in the wind. Freeze lancer.
Rising falcon!
Rending you apart!
Bloody hell! You're finished!
This one's mine. Air thrust.
Take this! Try harder! You're mine!
Into the shadows.
Never see what I can do! Blade!
Now! Take this! You're finished!
Forgive me. This is my fault.
Glacial spear.
We've got you surrounded.
Take this!
Rending you apart! Bloody howling!
Next!
As impressive as always.
Where I hoped I was improved.
No, I mean, you're even better than ever.
I've never seen Xion actually look flustered. Dance in the wind. Air thrust.
Rising falcon! Crush! Severing wind! Rising falcon! I'm not done! Severing this!
Shattering the pieces! Attack us!
Wind! Rising falcon! The flame inside me yearns to be let free! Strike! Burn!
Here I go.
Take this!
Armor won't save you! Far enough! Bloody howling!
Will this help?
No further!
Healing circle.
I'm in your
I
debt.
never miss.
Thanks, Shia.
Be careful not to overdo it.
I'm sorry. I'll do better.
Finish without a trace.
You're down! Execution! Wind!
Rending you apart!
By the power of flame. Finish without a trace.
Strike! Burn in hell! Here I come!
Explosion. Into the shadows.
You're mine!
You're mine! Wind! Rising falcon! No escape!
Feel my weary
Severing wind! Here I come!
The enemy wields arms too.
We'll soon see about that. Recover.
Armor won't save you! Leave us
You're
nearly done for.
All right. Healing circle.
Here I come!
Thanks for the healing.
Watch yourself, okay?
Yeah, you too. I'll fix you up.
Rising falcon! Cure! It's over!
Mega ray.
This one's all mine! We've turned the tables on him!
There are still more left.
Right! No time to hold back!
Elusive deity!
Raging storm. Hold on to
You're
your arms.
mine!
Here I
It's
come.
over! We did it!
Healing circle. Raging storm.
I don't know what I'd do without you.
Perhaps now isn't the time?
I really don't.
Here's a healing art. Raging
Radiant
storm.
ray.
Don't mind if I do.
It's over!
Not this
Turn
one
to the
now.
station!
Air thrust. Now here. That's. I'll heal you in the wind. Air thrust.
Rising falcon!
Healing circle.
I owe you one.
Looks like you came to my rescue again.
You need to be careful. With the blazing sword and with my hands.
Shia.
Annihilation.
The flame inside me yearns to be let free!
Execution!
Dance in the
Rending
wind.
you apart!
Air
Wind!
thrust.
Bloody howling!
Hurricane thrust!
Dance in the wind.
You're mine!
Freeze laser.
Scream.
Amazing. Not long to go now.
We couldn't have done it without you, Vanilla.
Thanks. Come on. Let's you and me get in there and finish this fight.
It's over! Blow away! Burn! You're mine!
Glacial spear.
It's over!
Pierce evil.
You're mine!
too dangerous! Stay back!
Goodwill!
What's going on here? This
Rinwell, are you okay?
Hey, are you crying?
I'm not the only one.
I heard it. Whatever it was, I heard it.
As did I. I'm not sure I'd call it a voice, but it was there.
What in the world just happened?
That was Dana's astral energy we just encountered. And I think what we heard might have been its voice?
You're saying astral energy has a mind of its own?
I haven't the slightest idea. But do you remember what happened when we fought Balseph back in Calaglia?
You mean when that fire monster came out of the spirit vessel?
Exactly. There was such a huge overflow of astral energy, it caused a monster to spawn and take physical form. Maybe the same thing happened here, just with way more astral energy and a bigger monster.
Does that mean if you gather enough astral energy, it can become sentient or take a physical form?
That's what I'm guessing, but it's just speculation. Master cores are able to hold a lot more energy than a spirit vessel, but we still haven't seen anything like that happen in our dealings with them.
That being said, there may be a mechanism of sorts inside Master Cores and spirit vessels that prevent such reactions.
That fire monster. I remember how it only appeared after Balsef's spirit vessel broke.
Then the reason Rinwell was able to sense all that astral energy earlier must have been because it was too much for that Zoogle to contain by itself.
So, then where do you think the Zoogle went? All that energy and poof, it's gone. The Zoogle with it. Doesn't that sound weird to anyone?
Indeed it does. However, in order for us to move our hypothesis forward, we will need to gather more evidence first. On that note, how are you holding up, Rinwell?
I just can't work out why. Why the voice reached out to me first.
Rinwell?
I can't help but wonder if it's because of my heritage that I was the one to hear it. Sorry. That's a strange thing to think, isn't it? Anyway, we should get going, right? We need to make sure the energy flow has actually stopped.
Are we gonna have to take this winding path all the way back down, too?
Yeah, but if anything, it should be easier than the climb up.
Everything all right? You kinda looked like you wanted to get something off your chest.
Huh? Oh,
Or not, whatever.
yeah. You know,
Yeah?
Sorry, never mind. Just forget it.
You want to try being a little less cryptic, maybe? All right, jeez. Sorry for taking an interest.
Stop it! It's okay, Hootle! Sorry. I guess I still don't really know how to put it into words.
Nah, that's fine. No rush. It might help you to talk about it, though.
I'll keep that in mind. And thanks.
Get out of this!
Can't be stopped! Here's the healing! Hey, what did it
Forgive me. This is my...
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Glacial Spear. Pierce evil.
I can carve through armor!
Freeze Lancer.
Try this! Explosive ring!
Bring you back from death to this.
Resuscitation! Here I come! It's over!
Still got some fight left in me.
Healing Circle.
You're mine!
Break this night.
Looks like you came to my rescue again.
You need to be careful. With the blazing sword, and with my thorns.
Eat this!
A charge like that could easily be fatal.
Just as well, I'm here to stop it.
Explosive ring!
Hold on to your heart. Here I come. Annihilation! Mega Ray! Can't be stopped!
You're finished! There!
Glacial Spear.
Can't be stopped!
Being interrupted. Armor won't save you!
Flight!
Can't get out of this!
Severing
Take that!
Try harder!
Not bringing you up!
Feel!
Eternal devastation!
I never miss!
Dragon Form! Try this!
Lunar corruption!
Another incantation ruined.
I couldn't make it in time.
Wind astral energy! Banana, let's go! Resuscitation! Wind astral energy! Take it!
Severing wind!
Dance in the wind!
Soaring light spear!
Feel!
Rising phoenix!
I'm ready!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished! Not a chance! No escape!
Annihilation!
Shockwave strike!
Alright, it's showtime!
There!
Breathing storm! Blown flight!
Vacuum blade!
Super! Here's the dance in the wind! Here!
Take this!
Saving this one! Healing
Vacuum
circle!
blade!
Tempest swirl! Alright, it's showtime!
I owe you one! You're mine! It's over!
Can you take it?
Breaking storm!
Take this!
There!
Here's another! Healing circle! Thanks!
I'll face
Just
you.
I don't know what I'd do without you.
Perhaps now isn't the time?
I really don't.
Shockwave flash!
Wind astral energy!
Engulfs you!
Mega ray! One more! One more! Dance in the wind!
Shockwave
Feel
flash!
it, help! I'll be this one!
Infernal torrent!
Healing circle! Tempest swirl! Up and at it! Let's go!
Here I come! Eat dirt!
I can carve through armor!
I never miss!
Can't get out of this!
Raging storm! Not in your dreams!
Far enough!
No more playing nice! Mega ray!
Ruin the gate! Shockwave
There you go! Go let
Negative
out!
gate!
Flame!
Infernal kill!
Reload!
Shine! Radiant light!
Do it! Astral energy!
Say no more. They've really got us on the ropes. Guess I misread the landing.
Go no further!
Okay, another incantation ruined.
Shockwave flash! Right
Hit
there!
me! Flame of fury!
Infernal torrent!
Benediction light.
Tempest
Here
swirl!
I come! It's over!
By the power of flame!
Try this!
No odds of being interrupted.
Infernal torrent! You're mine! It's over! Try harder! The flame inside is yours to be let free!
Burning
You're mine! Infernal torrent!
Lancer!
Here I come!
Armor won't save you!
It's over!
Storm!
No! Can't get... Here!
Forgive me. This is my fault.
Raging storm! Resuscitation!
You'll find no mercy.
By the power of flame! Vanish without
This one keeps charging us!
That's what my shield's for. Get behind me.
dirt!
Got it! I'll leave it to you!
In a bind?
Explosion! I never miss!
You're mine!
I'll bring you back from death's abyss!
Thy sins. They smite with
Resuscitation!
benediction
I
light.
still got some fight left in me! Vanish without a trace! Reload!
Far enough! Breath of life. Heal my weary companion. Pieces! Attack time!
Annihilation!
Here I come! Shot with you! No, you can't! It's too much! It's on!
Begin!
Here goes! Stands in the wind! Air thrust! Magic required! Fleet focus! Radiant!
Shine!
Load of ammo!
Regeneration!
Ignite!
Back into the fray!
Shine!
Take
Take
it!
it!
Annihilation! Radiant blood! Searing
Sharply
Blade!
flash!
Frozen Red!
Infernal turret!
Infernal Punch! Here's a healing arm!
You're mine!
First
Now
aid!
you see what I can
You're
do!
finished!
Ready to go!
Begin!
Sharply flash!
Here's the
Wind! Glimmer dragon!
All the minutes you hear it now!
Vacuum blade!
Elusive deity! Eagle ray!
Take this! You're finished!
Healing circle!
Here I
I
come!
will know everlasting darkness!
You're finished!
Thanks, Negative! I'm ready!
Glimmer!
Astral energy!
Say no more!
Shine!
My turn.
Radiant light!
Here I go!
Full of regeneration!
First strike! It's over! Try this!
Annihilation!
And this one's all mine!
It's time to finish this! Die! Consuming wildfire!
Can you take it?
Here I
I'm
go!
ready!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
They've really got us on the ropes.
Don't forget to heal your wounds.
Coming through!
Take this! Burn!
Ready and win! Go get him!
I owe you one!
Dance in the I owe you, Sion!
Healing is what my arts do best.
All mine can do is cause havoc and
Infernal
destruction.
turret! My turn!
Do it!
Glimmer!
Astral energy!
Say no more!
Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look who's in a bright and shiny mood. Guess I misread the landing.
Get lost!
Feel my weary companion! Can't get out of this!
You're mine!
In here!
You're finished!
Lightning! I'll be safe!
Sharply
No
flash!
dawn
Try
can
this!
break this night!
What's not even fair?
You're mine!
Dance in the wind!
Dance in the wind! In here! Lunar blast! This is
Thanks, Gina.
Be careful not to overdo it.
I'm sorry. I'll do better.
Elusive deity!
Burn in hell!
by the power of flame!
Sharply flash!
Take this!
Infernal turret!
Tempest wall!
Take this!
Take this!
You're finished!
Here's an arc! First aid! Razor close!
They smite with blackened flame!
You're mine! It's over!
Searing flame! Reload! I never miss!
Execution!
Take this!
Here's a healing arc!
Negative
First
gate!
aid! Tempest wall!
Take this!
Long
Sharply flash!
Everlasting
You're
darkness.
finished!
Negative gate!
Wind!
We got some energy! Healing from Tempest wall!
Here I come!
Now in the fury! Burning!
Ready and
Glacial
waiting.
spear!
They
Here's
can-
the
Can you take it?
flame!
Nothing gets
Time to let it rip!
I'm out of it! Back into the fray!
Vacuum blade! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno! Here I come! It's on!
Elusive deity!
By the power of one!
Ha! Not today!
Wind astral energy! Tough field!
Sharply flash! Try this!
Breath of life! Heal my weary
Infernal
companion!
turret!
Wind astral energy! Glacial
And
spear!
more of this and I'll burn out!
Armor won't save you!
Take this!
One more!
I'm not done!
Dance in the wind! Sleep now!
Sharply flash! Vacuum blade!
Gemini armor acting primed and ready! There you go! Don't let up! Finish without a trace! Seal! Do it!
Seal!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
That's some power you wield.
You're the one who did the heavy lifting.
Stay calm. I shall provide assistance. In a bind.
Where are you going?
Here I come!
More for
This
the
one's all mine!
Is that something royal art? Now I've seen everything.
Pesky airborne scoundrel.
Sounds like a job for yours truly. You are in tip-top shape.
As soon as I'm done here, come help out. They've really got us on the ropes.
Don't forget to heal your wounds.
Out of our way! I can't heal you forever.
Here I come! Come one, hit time! Shockwave blast!
Your wings won't save you from me.
Got fire!
I got it.
You picked the wrong fight! All yours! It's up! This should do it!
Glacial Spear. Here's evil.
Take this! You're finished!
Maybe show Kisara a little kindness, huh?
She's strong. She can handle herself.
You can be really dense, Dohalim. Glacial Spear. Here's evil. Sleep now. Within the sky, it's
Take
mine.
You're finished!
Gemini Aqua.
Here I come! Here I come!
Seems about right to me.
Guess I misread the landing. Whew. What a rush.
It looks like that beam of light has stopped.
Then is it safe to say we've avoided oblivion for the time being?
I can still sense a faint glimmer of energy, though. It hasn't completely dispersed.
You can tell? Rinwell, your senses seem a lot sharper than before, don't they?
And you said you heard that voice, right?
I guess. Maybe. I don't know. I don't feel bad, though.
If trace amounts, however small, do remain, then it leaves us no choice. We must destroy the entire structure.
What do you suggest? We bring it down piece by piece?
Once that's done, what do we do then?
We go to Lenegus. Even if we could destroy the whole wedge like he suggested, it'd only buy us time. The fact they sent this thing down tells me they're not giving up this planet without a fight.
There's also the matter of the Renis Alma. Its circumstances still have yet to be truly resolved.
But how do we even get to Lenegus?
What if we hotwire one of their starships? There's gotta be one on the planet somewhere, right?
Starships are only seen on Dana at the start and end of the Crown contest. Otherwise, they remain on Lenegis. Believe it or not, we Renans down here aren't quite as free to come and go as one might think.
Great. Well, I'm out of ideas then. We definitely don't have the tech to build a starship. And even if we found a Renan who'd help, who knows how long that'd take.
Yeah. Waiting for a starship to come down from Lenegis would probably be quicker than that.
Wait. Alphen, when you came down from Lenegis, it had to have been in a starship of your own, right?
Right.
Oh, of course. You can't be serious. That was 300 years ago. There's no way it's still gonna work.
But Alphen didn't wake up until a few years ago. That means it had to have still been functioning that whole time to keep his body preserved.
Indeed. You wouldn't happen to remember where you landed, would you?
My memories around where I parked are still a little hazy, but I do know that I woke up in Calaglia, so chances are it's still in the area. At least it's a place to start. Luckily, that realm's my old stomping ground, so I should be able to get us some help finding her.
This is it.
Yeah, as long as Lenegis stands there, there's no avoiding it.
So what's this help in Calaglia you're planning to enlist?
My buddy Nath. If anyone there knows something, I figure it's him. But first, we need to catch a boat and get back to the mainland. Our first port of call is Ulzebek.
Back where you first started out.
Yeah, along with my dad.
You okay? You don't look so good.
I think I'm just a little seasick, that's all.
Liar.
Huh?
You heard me. You've never been good at hiding your emotions, Shion.
Excuse me? Just what do you... No. You're right. I'm sorry.
Is it about Alphen?
No. Not just him.
Something you can't talk about?
Rinwell, I'm not like the rest of you.
Of course you are! No, I'm serious. Back when we first met, I think maybe then I did think we were different. But now I know that isn't true. You and I are the same, Shion. We're alike in more ways than you know. If any of us is different, it's me. I'm a Danon who can use magic. I may be the last. My family and I have been living in hiding as long as I can remember.
Everyone has their own pain that can be hard for other people to understand. I saw the two of you talking and thought you could use a third wheel. So, here I am. Sorry.
If anyone's the odd one out here, it's me. Believe me, you don't want to listen to my problems.
Want me to go?
I didn't say that.
I get that you must have a lot circling around that head of yours. And that's okay. Whatever's worrying you right now, you're allowed to worry about it. And you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to. I know I'm not a Renan like you, or a mage like Rinwell. I'm not a sovereign, maiden, or lord. I'm just a Danon who used to be a slave. But regardless of all that, I'm here for you, Shion.
That goes for me too. We all want to be there for you. Me and Hootle and even the boys. I promise. I mean, that is what friends are supposed to do, right?
I said this to Alphen, and now I'll say it to you. You're not alone in this.
Thank you. Rinwell. Kisara.
And right on cue, I think I should make my way back and lie down for a bit. My battle with this ship continues.
Yeah, I better head back too. We wouldn't want the guys thinking they're in charge. Can you imagine Law at the helm? Who knows what kind of trouble we'd get into?
Still, if that's true, then it's all the more reason I have to do this.
Aw, are you tired, Hoodle?
You sure he's not just trying to hide from us?
All right, something is definitely up with Shion.
Yeah, something big by the looks of it. I've never seen her so serious.
So, do you think we should say something to Alphen then?
I was wondering the same thing myself, but then it occurred to me. Whatever this thing on her mind is, it's probably the last thing in the world she wants people to know about. If she's trying this hard to keep it secret, then it's not really our place to go telling people before she's ready.
Yeah.
I can't tell them. There's just no way I could, right? What am I supposed to do?
We finally made it.
Huh. I must admit,
Wow, that's some...
That would be grilled rapig.
What?
Whoa there! What's the big brouhaha?
It's Rapig! How could you cook something with such cute little eyes? What did it ever do to you?
I fail to see what the problem is. Rapigs are perfectly edible creatures. Having said that, I do realize it's become rather rare to eat them lately. What with people increasingly embracing them as pets and companions.
They definitely didn't fall out of fashion to eat because of their flavor, that's for sure.
Agreed. Rapigs have tender, fatty meat. The taste can take some getting used to, but I would argue that's part of its charm.
If the taste is too strong, I imagine you can either just cook it thoroughly or simmer it with some herbs to mask it.
Indeed. At first I wasn't sure whether to smoke it with spices or simmer it in water, but I opted to grill it as is instead.
Seriously, Dohalim? You have the weirdest tastes.
That's probably because when you live the life of a lord, you grow tired of most ordinary cuisine.
So you end up seeking out more unusual food. I don't know if that's good or bad.
Well, putting aside what it used to be, you've got to admit it does look pretty damn good. Meat is meat after all.
That reminds me. I do believe I once read in a book about rare delicacies, how one can go about preparing an owl. I suppose I won't have the chance to try it anytime soon.
Not with Hoodle, you won't!
That came out great. Everyone's gonna be real...
Hey, what's the smoke? Is it an enemy attack?
Seriously, it's making my eyes and throat burn. What the hell is going on?
It's probably some sort of gas. Try not to breathe it in as much as you can manage.
Gas? Those cowards!
Isn't this just cooking smoke?
What kind of food makes your throat burn so bad just from the smoke?
I believe Alphen is...
They're trying to gas Alphen?
What? Those sick bastards! I won't let them get away with this!
Calm yourselves and listen. I was simply trying to say that Alphen is the one cooking.
Oh?
Maybe I should throw in some more spices, just for that extra kick. Yeah, that'll help. Think I'll turn up the heat while I'm at it, too. Oh, crap. The spice is burned. Well, at least the meat's coming along nicely. All right. Now, I just flip it over, and then...
Hey, Alphen? What are you doing over there?
Oh, Shion. Perfect timing. I actually just finished roasting up a chicken. Call everybody over so we can eat together. I used a ton of spices, so it's got a good punch to it. Might have overcooked it a little, but it should still taste good.
I'm starting to understand why your food always tastes so damn spicy now.
Hasn't anyone told him that it is actually possible to have too much of a good thing?
If that's the taste he truly wants, far be it from me to contradict. His cuisine is a rather delicate repast.
I always love the sound of hammers banging away. Ah, Calaglia. Feels like it's been ages.
Everyone around here looks so much happier than they used to.
I'll say. It feels like an entirely different place. I suppose it's had time to adjust to its newfound freedom.
Zephyr would have been so happy to see this.
Yeah, he really would have. Especially if he knew Law was... Law? Something bothering you, Law?
Nah, I'll be fine. It's just, you know.
It still weighs on you, doesn't it? Running away back then.
I abandoned my home. Then when I finally come back, it's been liberated. What's important is that it's free. I get that, I do. I just... I should have been here.
Just one thing after another, and it all falls on my head to...
Hey, Nath.
What? Can't you see I'm... Alphen?
Looks like you have your hands full.
As much as ever. As if I wasn't busy enough putting down the last remnants of Renan rule, I'm up to my ears in Danon disputes. And then, to top it all off, that thing had to come crashing down from out of the sky.
Pretty sure we've heard this somewhere before.
But enough about my problems. What can I help you with?
Yeah, we're looking for an old Renan starship. You wouldn't happen to know any around these parts, would you?
A starship? What do you need one of those for?
To get to Lenegis.
Lenegis? Are you out of your damn mind?
Believe it or not, it wouldn't be the craziest thing we've done recently.
Oh, I believe it. Well, either way, I'm afraid I haven't heard anything about a starship.
Then do you have any historical records by chance?
Sure, we've got stacks of old records.
Mind if we take a look at them?
Yeah, okay.
Thanks, Nath.
I read through all of the records, but I only found a single line that might point to what we're looking for. It mentions a rock that shot across the sky and landed past the mountains. The event was recorded just before the first Renan invasion.
And you think that might be the starship?
I don't know. There was nothing else in the records that came even close. It looked like it was someplace called Berg, but maybe I'm reading it wrong.
Berg?
That ring any bells for you?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest volcanoes in Calaglia. I was just there recently, investigating a report of a meteor someone saw.
Another meteor in the same area? Really?
I wonder if it could have been one of those lights that shot out of the wedge.
All the more reason to check it out. Can you tell us how to get there?
The old Zion mine is up that way. One of the veins we abandoned connects to the volcano. Go ahead and use that. But you should be careful.
Huh?
I don't know if it has anything to do with the meteor. There's a giant Zoogle running riot in there. Never seen anything like it.
A Zoogle, huh?
I turned back as soon as I caught sight of the thing, so I can't tell you much more. Just be real careful if you head out that way. All right.
I guess...
Right.
I didn't like the sound of that mon-
Everything okay with Hootle, Rinwell? He seems kinda out of spirits.
It must be the heat getting to him. We don't get these kind of temperatures back in Cislodia.
Galaglians born and raised here struggle with it too, so it's no surprise.
Aha! So that's why his plumage is so white. He was born in a winter wonderland.
Actually, Dan and owls absorb the astral energy of whatever land they're raised in. Where they're born doesn't affect their appearance at all. But that's not why he's white. The real reason is that he's still just a baby. Whoo!
You mean their plumage changes color depending on where they grow up? Weird.
And with all this traveling we've been doing, it wouldn't surprise me if his wings ended up looking like a colorful painting.
I think he suits his snowy complexion. It'll feel strange to see him change.
How awesome would it be if his head and wings were different colors? And his stomach and sides, like a map of our travels! Ow, lay off, will ya? So much for the heat making him docile!
You've only yourself to blame for that one. Hootle takes pride in his appearance, you know.
Fascinating. An appreciation of aesthetic beauty in an owlet so young.
Dohalim, I think you've drawn his attention. Looks like we made it here in one piece.
I've got a good amount of info on... Whoa, that came... This ice cream tastes so good.
I swear, you're always having ice cream, even when it's freezing cold out.
And who made you the food police?
No one. I'm just saying that's a lot of ice cream. Don't you ever, throw up or anything?
Did you really just say that? Try thinking before you talk.
Huh? What do you mean? All I'm saying is I'm just a little worried about you, okay?
Well, don't be. I can have ice cream whenever I want.
You say that, but you know what's gonna happen if you keep eating ice cream all the time.
It's none of your business what I eat or how often.
Arguing over the consumption of a frozen dairy product. Ah, to be young.
Naive might be more accurate.
Kisara, let's talk for a bit.
I've been thinking about what we discussed earlier. His reasons might not have been pure, but in the end, Dohalim still made Elda Menencia a place where Danans and Renans can coexist. I thought everyone would welcome that change, with open arms. I took pride in what we had without putting in the work to truly solidify it. After so much failure, do you think I even have the right to pursue my ideals?
It doesn't matter what I think. You've already found your answer, haven't you?
I know what I want to say, but I can't help but wonder if I'm being selfish.
Everybody makes mistakes in life, Kisara. Everybody. It's what you do afterwards that matters. But you already knew that, right?
Yeah. I won't look away from the world any longer. I'll do my best to confront reality, so that we don't lose anyone else, ever again. More to the point, Dohalim needs someone who can push him forward. I think we both get lost in our sorrow too easily when we focus on the past.
If we see that happening, we'll set him straight. Don't worry. We'll look out for both of you. I have to say, though, if you turned out this well modeling yourself after Miguel, he really must have been a great man.
What, you didn't believe me before? I'm pretty sure I've been going on about him since I joined up. If you need more convincing, I've got plenty more stories about him.
Maybe another time.
Don't worry. Once I finish folding these clothes, I'll go to sleep.
Better. Rest easy and prepare for tomorrow.
Easy peasy. I knew I could handle it.
Make sure to get some good rest.
Rise and shine. We're almost ready to leave.
It's quite hot here. The climate feels different from Menancia's.
It's gotten much cooler since leaving town, though.
Does that mean eyes were burning holes in us?
Something feels odd here. Be on your guard.
So we're back in the Zion mine tunnels. Who would have thought we'd be going through this place again? This is where you and I first fought together.
And also the first time we touched, as I recall.
Wait, really?
Yes, really.
So this path is supposed to take us out to Berg Volcano?
We're not gonna see any lava burst out in front of us or anything, are we?
Don't get so paranoid you let a rock fall on your head, Law. So hot.
Well, yeah. We've reached the inner portion of Berg Volcano.
We need to find that starship, and fast.
Razor cake! This one's mine!
Stay calm. I shall provide assistance.
Chocolate Slash!
Wind! Corruption!
Pesky airborne scoundrel. Light burst forth.
Radiant Genesis! You don't mess around.
Flame inside me, yours to be
Certainly
let
not.
free! I'm ready!
Astral Energy!
Say no more! Not a chance! Chocolate Slash! No escape! Double Demon
Now!
Slash!
Astral Energy!
Say no more! That astral energy was incredible!
I gave it everything I had. Hi, Hoodle!
You picked the wrong fight! Chocolate Slash! I'll take you all out! Take it!
Armor won't save.
Aim for the weak spot! Chocolate Slash!
Leave the enemy's arc to me.
Severing Wind!
No complaints here.
Charge like that can easily be faced.
Just as well, I'm here to stop it.
Take this!
All disasters made one.
Take this. I'll bash in their
Does
defenses.
this work? Glad you have your uses.
I'll show you how useful I can be.
Do it!
Elusive deity.
Chill!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished! This one's all mine! No escape!
Glacial Spear. Here's evil.
We've turned the tables on it.
There are still more left.
Right! No time to hold back!
Who wants to die next? Lightning Orb! Photon
Severing Wind!
illuminate the dark!
You're finished!
A chain between heaven and earth.
Here I come!
A
Chocolate
world
Slash!
lightning!
Infernal Torrent! I'm not done! There!
Get over there with the others.
Coming through! Ha! Melt! Scarlet Inferno!
Here, let me help.
I don't know what I'd do without you.
I can carve through
Perhaps
armor.
now isn't the time?
I really don't.
Here I come!
Now!
Come chill!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished! This should make for some good weapon crafting material.
And thus... our strength yet grows.
Huh.
No
Here
choice!
goes!
Take it! I'm not come one, come no further!
Here!
Chocolate Slash!
Illuminate the dark!
If it cools up, time to get out of the way. Black and blade.
Between heaven and earth.
This one's all mine!
A wailing banshee of lightning!
I'll stop its charge.
Thanks, Kisara.
Wind! Searing Gale!
No armor can stop me. Remind me to stay on your good side.
What?
Take it! Strike!
Now you see what I can do.
A chain between
Take
heaven
it!
and earth.
Hut! Hut!
A wailing banshee of lightning!
Now I can let loose!
Sleep now. Annihilation!
No escape! Chocolate Slash!
Gemini Aqua!
Soaring Lightning
Eagle
Spear!
ray.
A wailing banshee of
I'm
lightning!
not done!
I'm ready.
Astral Energy!
Say no more! Got me!
Well done!
Chocolate Flame!
Air thrust!
Looks like it could be worth something.
can make plants grow instantly? What if we use this for fruits and vegetables?
I'd rather not be our party's fertilizer. Thank you very much.
No choice. Take this! Ignite!
Don't mind if I do.
You're mine! Thank you! Severing wind!
A banana for the stone!
Shockwave blast!
Here now!
We've got fire!
Hey! Blow them away!
Not a chance!
Got me!
There!
Begin!
Vacuum blade!
Illuminate your path!
There!
The enemy wields our too.
We'll soon see about that!
Severing wind!
Dohalim!
Light burst forth!
Radiant Denison! You don't mess around! One more!
Certainly no.
Now!
Dohalim! In an instant! Impact clock!
Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look who's in a bright and shiny mood.
Coming through!
A chain between heaven and earth!
I'll thank you.
A wailing...
I'm not done! Ignite!
They're hiding with armor!
I shall ensure you survive this.
Get on there with the others!
Flying free! What did they just do?
Sion, can you take care of them?
No sooner
Let me
said
see
than
what I
done!
can do.
I'm not done!
Force of regeneration.
This one keeps charging us!
That's what my shield's for. Get behind me.
Gun! I'll leave it to you! Strike! Shockwave blast!
Magic is there! Airdrop!
Double demon fang!
Do it!
Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Could have been worse.
My face is starting to sting. And my throat feels super parched.
Here, have some water. Just make sure you don't drink too much.
Thanks.
Discourteous, aren't you?
Its armor's too strong!
Split it open!
Be my guest! Here I come!
A wailing...
Are those rocks that tune in?
Glacial Spear!
Exploit the enemy's weak. Anything in armor is all mine!
Take this!
I'll smash you! Leaving you apart!
Win!
On your
Do it! Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Small. But a victory nonetheless.
We have a long way yet to go.
Hi, Hoodle!
You're mine! Strike! Try harder! Come and face me!
Anything in armor is all mine!
Shockwave blast! Win!
I'll smash you!
I'm not done!
Scream fate and blood.
Rending you apart!
Severing wind! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
I'll heal you all!
Take the flame inside me! Yours to be let free! Okay, here I go! Ready! Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade! My turn!
Raging
I'm not
Storm!
done!
Banana
Soaring
Light
Light
Spear!
Spear!
Celestial
Here I come! No escape! Burn!
Laser Cyclone!
Ethan! Attack time!
Now!
Severing wind!
This one's got your name on it!
Action to action. A merry distraction.
There's still more to go!
Now you see what I can do!
Wind!
Negative J!
Here goes!
Rising
Not in
rocket!
your dreams!
I'm ready! Rinwell! Light burst forth!
Radiant Denison! Sighted!
Not a chance!
Into the shadows!
Shockwave blast! Wind!
Only the best materials in your garments.
You really do have quite the discerning eye. Dohalim.
Yeah, they all kind of look the same to me.
Discourteous, aren't you?
This one's mine!
No further! Yours! To be let free!
Searing flame! Reload! You have to aim... There's a bright area on their back!
You! You're mine!
Illuminate the flashing part's their weak point! A chain between heaven and earth! Fury! Burning!
Try hard, my turn!
Glacial spear! Here's evil! This will come in handy!
You're finished!
Free lantern! Dance in the wind! Seal! I'll be saving this one!
Here I come!
Ready and ready! Let's go!
Shockwave flash! On your distance! Wind!
Do it!
River!
Astral energy!
Say no more! Got it!
Well done!
Here I come! Stardust! I'm ready!
This one's got your name on it!
Ashes to ashes! Not a chance!
Dance in the wind!
I can carve through all this time!
Between heaven and earth!
Rising!
Wailing Granthea lightning! Do it!
Okay.
Sion! Astral energy! Full throttle! Go!
Now! Take this! Demon Lash!
Energy!
Soaring
Not ammo! Bear ray! Photon! Raise
Take
the
it!
game!
You picked the wrong
Do
fight!
it!
Totally! In an instant! Impact claw! Not a chance! I'm not done!
Anything in armor.
Air thrust!
Was that a new skill I saw back there?
Indeed. Well, sort of. Actually, it's a family staple. Well, harkening back 8 generations.
Maybe you can just write all this down?
Got to break through!
Coming through!
I can carve through armor! Here I come! Wind!
By the power of water!
Soaring right spear! Take it! I'm not...
Resonate with the earth.
I'll heal you all!
On your
Shockwave flash!
Healing circle!
Take You're mine! Now I can let loose!
Into the shadows!
ready and raring.
Mega ray!
It's over!
By the power of water!
Armor won't save you.
Chain between heaven and earth!
Severing wind!
A wailing Granthea lightning!
I'm ready! River!
Astral energy!
Say no more! Got it!
Well
Now!
done! Finish without a trace!
Luna Rondo! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet and... I can feel my power growing!
Guess I misread the landing.
Discourteous, aren't you?
You're mine! I'm not done!
Come forth,
Sure.
the healing
Okay,
spear
hear the
comes
flame
king.
inside me, yours to be let free!
Radiant light! Here! Water astral I never miss!
Shockwave flash!
Alright, it's no time!
Try harder!
Air through it!
I'm not
Kisara,
done!
frozen!
Hammer.
Glacial
No
spear
chance.
on your art! Here I come!
Shockwave
Now!
flash!
Shield!
This one's got your name on it!
Ashes to ashes! A merry
Not a
distraction.
chance!
There's still more to go!
Rising Falcon! Strike!
Not on my watch!
No escape!
Power of
Shockwave flash! This one's all mine! Burn!
I'm out of
You're
ammo!
mine!
In a bind.
Shockwave flash!
Annihilation! Lightning by the power of Thunder Blade!
Resonate with the earth.
We've turned the tables on
Then
her.
there are still more left!
Right! No time to hold back! Severing wind!
In here!
I'm ready! Commander of Heaven! Phoenix Cyclone! Stardust!
Now for something
Lady Fortune must truly be watching over me.
This bridge will hold itself together, right?
Most definitely. Though I won't make any promises.
Which one is it?
Discourteous, aren't you?
It looks like you got this in Now! Astral energy!
Say no more!
You sure showed them.
All in a day's work.
Dispose of the trash.
Confiscated. This one's mine.
I'll smash you!
I never miss.
You're mine! Shockwave Strike!
Now!
Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Here I come!
Why'd you heal me?
To stop you dying?
Ah, right.
Shockwave Strike! Talon Storm! Strike!
Lunar corruption!
You're mine! The flame inside me yearns to be let free! Totally! In an instant! Impact Claw!
Illuminate expert coming through!
Now you see what I can do!
Win!
By the power of
Watch this!
Ignite!
Now! Astral energy!
Say no more!
Like we're gonna lose to small fry.
Get lost! Not on my watch!
You're mine!
Ready and raring!
Looks like you came to my rescue again.
You need to be careful. With the blazing sword, and with my thorns.
Our expert coming through!
Here I come! I'm not done! It's over! You're mine!
This one's
No
mine!
escape!
Not on my watch!
Faith and blood.
I never miss! Steel force!
Your horse are not the skills of just any warrior.
Save your compliments. We have to move.
Driven and talented.
Power of the earth!
Shockwave Strike! Take this! Rising
the wind!
Win!
Do it! A banana! Let's go!
Lady Fortune must truly be watching over me.
Out of our way!
I'll smash you!
Radiant spear!
Burn!
Take this!
Go!
Win!
Mega ray!
You're mine! done! Rising Falcon! Wide open!
It won't escape me.
Shockwave Flash!
Who wants to die next?
Take it! Win! You're mine! It's over!
A wailing guilty of lightning!
Try hard, my turn! I'm not done!
Let's heal!
You're mine!
This is handy!
Severing wind!
Now! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished! That's some power you wield.
You're the one who did the heavy lifting.
It's crazy to see rocks melt before our eyes.
Watch where you're going, everyone. If you fall, there will be nothing left of you.
I didn't know you had that sort of trick up your sleeve, Dohalim. I would have figured rocks and plants would... would be too different for you to handle.
Retreat if you know what's good for you. I can carve through. Take this.
Can you take it? Here I come! Burn in hell!
No further.
Here goes! Where are you going? Illuminate the
Now you see what I can do.
No escape!
Elusive deity.
No escape!
Far enough. Rotating pile driver.
It's on!
A chain between heaven and
Here I
earth.
come!
A whirling dancy of lightning!
Elusive deity.
Shockwave Flash!
Rotating pile driver.
Try harder!
Soaring blast.
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished! Now! Here I come! Severing wind! Take this! No escape!
Do it! Dohalim!
Light burst forth.
Radiant Innocent! You don't mess around!
You're
Certainly
mine!
not.
I can carve through armor.
Win!
I'm ready. All yours, Kisara.
Not a chance!
I'll grind you with shockwave flash.
Now!
Well then, let's keep moving.
Discourteous, aren't you?
Here I come!
In a bind.
Strike!
I can handle it!
Shockwave Flash! Russia! It's on!
No more Miss Nice Girl!
No escape!
Go
Ignite!
for the weak point!
Elusive deity.
You're
pile driver.
You're mine!
I'm ready.
Astral Energy!
Say no more! Got it!
Well done!
Heal my weary companion.
Into the shadows! Don't mind if I do!
Now I can let it!
By the power of Astral Energy! Without a trace!
You're mine!
When it is time!
Shockwave!
Anything in armor is all mine.
Not a chance!
Armor won't save you.
Strike!
Illuminate magic is there!
There!
Bloody
Vacuum blade!
By the power of flame! Vanish without a trace! Celestial hammer!
Reflect on thy
Ice
shame.
prison!
They
Explosion!
smite with blackened
Blow
blade.
away! Radiant Flash!
Illuminate the dark! Now!
No escape!
Astral energy! Full throttle! Go!
I've never seen so many bull's eyes.
I couldn't have done it without you.
This will be a delicious piece of cake!
The everlasting dark.
Searing flame!
Burn!
Dance in the wind! Air, lunar
Severing wind!
heaven and earth!
sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
With this, I can become even stronger.
What the hell is that thing?
Probably that monster Nath warned us about, if I had to guess.
Do you think this might have been where one of those lights that shot out of the wedge landed?
But why this location? If the purpose of the wedge is to harvest Dana's astral energy.
We can figure that out later. If that thing gets into town, it's going to cause chaos. We need to take it down and move on. Let's go! This one's tough, but we have no choice.
Let me know if you need healing.
Here it comes! Focus!
On your toes, everyone!
Suddenly turning tail doesn't seem so ridiculous.
Why? Are you scared?
Me? Are you?
Do you even have to ask? Of course I'm scared.
Focus up before we become that thing's lunch.
It's summoning Zoogle? Take care of them while keeping an eye on it.
Now you see what I can do!
You're mine! Try harder! My turn!
Water
Take
astral
it!
energy! Raging cascade!
It's over!
Full concentration!
Ignite!
Lunar blast! Unwailing! Lightning!
Let us take
It's
this
over!
Raging cascade!
So this here I come! Hitting pile driver!
Come one, come
Anything in order! Go on! No dawn.
Looks like you came to my rescue again.
You need to be careful.
Charge like that
With the blazing sword,
Just as well, I'm here.
Blah, 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 magic! Sleep now. Fear. Here's the evil.
Elusive deity!
Free Blancer! All disasters made one! Purity!
The fluidity of your movements is simply incredible.
One more time!
Hurricane Thrust! Searing Gale! Eat dirt!
I'll heal you all! Here goes! One more raging cascade!
I
may have bit off more than I thought.
Here I go!
Here!
Stardust!
Denied!
Thanks!
I'm out of arrows!
Now you see what I can do!
Strike! I'm not done! Stardust!
I'll grind you into stop! Elusive deity!
It's weakened!
Strike! This ends now! Searing Gale!
Here I come!
Burn!
On your way!
Shockwave flash! Raining flash!
Raging cascade!
Wind! Take this! River!
Astral energy!
Say no more!
It's go time!
Here for come more!
We'll just have to keep fighting.
I'm not done!
Leave the enemy's arms to me!
You'll pay for that!
No hold on here! Here I come!
Dance on the
Raging
wind!
cascade!
Take this!
Now!
I'm not done!
Frozen!
Hammer!
Now!
Imbue
Wind!
this vanquished soul with light! I can
more!
carve through armor!
I'm not done! Shockwave!
What was I thinking?
Not a chance! This one's all mine! No escape! Not today! You're mine! Not a chance! This isn't looking good! My turn! Try harder! My
Hold
turn!
on to your art!
Wind!
Here I come! Do it!
River!
Astral energy!
Say no more!
I'm
My
on the
turn.
wall!
Heal my
I'm not
weary
done!
companion!
No escape!
Healing
Wind!
circle!
Now I can let loose!
Now!
River!
Astral energy!
Say no more!
If it's in the sky,
Reinforcements incoming!
not a problem! Don't mind if I do! Art expert coming through!
Light!
Heal!
All
In a bind?
blood! Come forth, a helix of purity! I've taken too much damage!
Resonate with me won't save you!
Maelstrom! Planetary time!
On your
Raging cascade!
Eat dirt!
Here, let me help!
Shockwave
Heal!
flash!
Our arts are being interrupted.
Ready! Where are you going?
Take Here I come!
They smite
Wind!
black and flame!
You're mine! Stardust!
Shattering
All
to
the
pieces!
Come forth, a helix of
see what
They're
I
all
can
coming
do.
after me!
I'm coming, Redwell!
I'm not scared. I'm totally fine.
I'm not done!
Water astral
Try
energy!
harder! Not a chance! Not a chance! My turn!
No, it won't end like this.
Stay away from my friend!
Don't mind if I do.
Imbue this
Hold on
vanquished
to your
soul
heart.
with light!
Here I
Wind!
go.
From beyond,
You're mine!
imbue this
Not
vanquished
today!
soul with light!
Water astral
Severing
energy!
wind!
Whoa, hey, one at a time. What was I thinking?
Another incantation ruined.
Severing wind!
Thanks a lot in your dreams. Ready?
Here I come! Here I come!
The earth throbs in pain.
Stardust!
Raging cascade.
Ready and ready!
Healing circle. Water
Armor
astral
won't
energy.
save you!
I don't know what I'd do without you.
Perhaps now isn't the time?
I really don't.
Not in your dreams.
Take it!
Coming through.
Shockwave flash! Burn!
Bloody howling!
Wind!
Here's evil.
Searing gale!
Negative gate!
Here I come! Shockwave flash!
Can't get out of this!
Radiant in here.
Here I come! I'm not done! Rising
No
Falcon!
dawn shall break this night!
Whoa, hey! One at a time.
Here I come!
Now,
River!
astral energy.
Say no more! My turn! Strike!
I never miss.
You're finished!
Dance on the wind!
Shockwave flash!
Reflect on thy
Radiant
They smite with black and
Now,
flame!
Look sharp!
Lightning tiger blade!
My turn!
Arctic waterfall.
Wind!
Freeze lancer. Now, this ends now.
Consider yourself finished! Not a chance!
Take this!
Confiscated. Glacial
Reflect on
spear.
thy
Here's
spirit.
evil.
They
Blah, blah,
smite with
blah.
black and
Freeze
flame.
lancer.
Benediction light.
Okay, here I go!
It's about to strike.
Look sharp, everyone!
Everyone all right?
We won't surrender. We won't retreat. Not yet.
Whatever you do, just please stay safe.
I'll heal you all.
How are we supposed to take on something so big?
I'll handle it.
Elfin.
Watch and learn. That's enough!
Everyone okay?
Yeah, I think so.
That thing scared the pants off me.
It felt like it had a different aura than other Zeugles, didn't it?
Yeah. It wasn't like the one that Almadria sicked on us either.
Its elemental astral energy variance was out of this world. It was like fighting a lord.
I guess it's safe to assume that if it came out of the wedge, it must have played some part in helping harvest astral energy. But what?
Perhaps a living spirit vessel? It's plausible, given the location. Or it may be part of a new force dispatched to regain control of Dana.
If we assume that monster was one of the 4 beams of light, we must have prevented something from taking place here.
I'd like to think so, knowing how much grief it gave us. But at least with that out of the way, we can keep moving forward now. Let's go.
Still got a ways to go.
Hey, is that it over there?
Alphen?
Did you remember something?
No, but I have seen this starship before. This is it. This is the ship I traveled in when I escaped from Lenegis.
Three centuries later, and it's no worse for wear. I'll take a look at the internals.
Damn! I'm amazed it still works at all after all this time.
The past meets the present. I really am from a different time and place.
Yeah, but you've got us now, Alphen.
Not only that, but you've helped out so many people, too.
Law's right. Rinwell too. You're one of us now. No more carrying the weight of history on your shoulders. You're a part of this world.
Right. Thanks, you guys.
It should fly. All internal systems seem to be operating. However, considering how long it's remained inactive, I suspect it will take some time before it's ready for takeoff.
How much time are we talking here?
Starship mechanics are not what I'd call my forte, so I'd rather not hazard a guess.
So we've just got to sit around here and wait? I'm terrible at waiting.
That's because you're a child. Oh, but how about we use this time to prepare and gather supplies for the trip?
Good idea. Who knows when we'll be back from Lenegis once we leave? We should prepare ourselves for every possible scenario before we go.
Let's try not to stay away too long. I'd hate for anything to happen to the place while we're gone.
Either we race ahead, or we take due precaution to ensure we have no regrets. I shall leave it up to you as to how we proceed, Alphen.
Works for me.
You sense one of your pals, Hoodle?
What's on the other side of this door, anyway?
Why ask me when you can just open it and find out?
This is...
But this is...
Right.
Kisara. Oh.
Wow!
Nice one, Alphen.
Thanks. Gotta keep up with the competition.
Personally, I prefer below.
Hey, new equipment!
We finally made it. It's funny, isn't it?
What is?
all this? When we first started this thing, did you ever imagine we'd be going to Lenegus? After all, this is the sort of thing I was rebelling against when I ran away from home, right?
I'm sure Zephyr would be proud if he knew what his son was doing right now.
And a little shocked, too.
We're defying the order of things that have persisted for 300 years. Deep down, I knew our journey would lead to confronting Lenegus.
Yeah, you maybe, but you're a Renin. The rest of us can barely even picture what it means to leave Dana.
No offense to Shion and Dohalim, but it's worth remembering we're heading into enemy territory.
No offense taken, and this is no picnic for me either.
Remember, our aim is to ensure that both Lenegus and the Renin homeworld leave Dana alone for good. I don't think we'll be able to avoid a fight.
Is there no way we can talk them into leaving us alone?
The people of Lenegus?
Sure. I mean, we found a way to make it work with Shion and Dohalim, right? And it's not just us. If places like Menancia can do it, then why can't we?
Because there are still many of my kind who believe it was right and natural that Rena reigns over Dana. There are those on Lenegus who have never stepped foot on Dana. I doubt whether they'd even listen to Danans.
Look, none of us want to fight. But these are the same people who fired that wedge down on Dana. What happens next is on them.
Right. We're not going to sit back and wait for them to oppress us again.
Right.
Don't forget, there's also a good chance the Red Woman is somewhere on Lenegus. And wherever she is, we should find the Renaissance too.
That's right. If we can take it back, then Shion can finally get rid of her thorns. Shion?
Huh? Yeah.
Where? Shion? Where'd Shion go? How could she just go? Shion. Shion! It's your thorns? But why? You okay? Just now, it looked like you used your maiden powers to suppress your thorns. You can really do that?
Stay out of my way.
Wait a second. Are you planning to go alone?
Shut up!
Why would you do this?
I told you to shut up!
I won't let you.
I mean it.
I refuse to let you.
I won't tell you again. Move or I'll shoot.
If that's the case, then go ahead and shoot me!
Do you remember back when I was stabbed? By Volron?
Yeah. I thought for sure that he had killed you back there.
That wasn't the first time.
Huh?
The first time was when I was only a child. After that, no matter how often, I just couldn't die.
Couldn't die? So you're immortal? How's that even...
I believe you, Xion. But tell me how is something like that possible?
My thorns. They're me, but at the same time not. They're part of me. I have no idea why, but my thorns will never let me die. At least not before I'm meant to.
You can't die before your death?
When my thorns free themselves, it will be my death. I've seen it. A darkness that swallows up everything until nothing remains. It's a vision of oblivion I can't escape. I want to believe it's all just a bad dream. But no matter what I tell myself, I know it's not.
Yeah, but you... Wait. The whole reason you needed the Renaissance was to get rid of your thorns, right?
If I burn away what's inside, then what will happen to the rest of me? Right. Either way you look at it, I'm going to die. But if I am going to die, I figure I can at least take my thorns out with me. That's what I've been after this whole time.
That's why you turned your back on your fellow Renans and chose to fight with us, isn't it? And while we've all been fighting to keep on living, you have been with us fighting desperately to die.
That was the plan. But then I met all of you. And before I knew it, I didn't want to die anymore.
Xion, don't lose hope yet. We'll find a way to save you. There's still time to...
It's pointless.
Why?
Because the darkness won't just consume me. The truth is, it will consume all of existence as well. It was only a suspicion at first, but ever since the Red Woman triggered my maiden powers, I've been more certain than ever before. It was then that I finally came to realize my powers were holding my thorns in check the entire time. But they don't anymore. Not since Lenegis, when the wedge fell. Every day, I feel the thorn's power growing stronger inside of me. Pretty soon, I won't be able to hold them back anymore. And when that happens...
They will consume all existence.
And that's why you wanted to leave by yourself. You planned to find the Renaissance on your own and sacrifice yourself to stop the thorns.
But that's... too much. It's way too much.
When this all began, I didn't care what happened to me or anyone else. And what happened to the Renans or the Danans didn't matter to me at all. I know I have to die, but I don't want to. Not now that I have this. I wish we had never met. Then I wouldn't have to feel this way.
Xion!
Help me.
Only living for the sake of dying.
is no better than being a slave. How can you endure this?
Alphen.
It's not fair. I don't care what anybody says. I won't let it happen! We can fight this! Fight until the end together. Isn't that what you said to me before?
Even if it should mean that it'll be the end of everything else, too?
Shion, what do you want? It's your decision, ultimately. But if you decide not to fight fate, I will. Even if I have to do it alone.
No, you won't be alone. I'll fight as well.
Count me in as well. I want to be a force for good, not hate.
And me too. I meant it with all of my heart when I told you before. Neither of you are alone in this at all.
You guys...
And I, for one, don't believe this venture is without hope.
Huh?
Shion is the descendant of a maiden from 300 years ago. Given the circumstances, it seems very likely that those events have some connection to her thorns. The true nature of which, I imagine we will discover as we make our way to Lenegis and uncover the truth of what's unfolding here.
I take it you mean we might find a way to get rid of her thorns and she'll live?
It's certainly possible. Though I suspect the nature of the Sovereign is connected somehow.
So be it. I've already lost everything I had once. And I won't let it happen again. Shion. No matter what happens from now on, we're right here with you. All of us are. You are not alone.
You guys... You're all so stubborn. Thank you, everyone. For right now, and a little while longer, I just want to hold on to this dream. And most of all, more than anything else, I want to be with all of you. So let's go. On to Lenegis.
The end of the world. It's hard to believe, isn't it?
I believe Shion is telling the truth. What about you?
As a friend, yes, I want to believe her. Everything that's happened seems to point towards some sort of great danger that's lurking ahead of us. Still, it's hard to fathom something that could usher outright doom to the world. That those really are the stakes we face.
No, I understand. Even Shion doesn't seem to know exactly what will happen to bring it all about.
We have so many pieces of the puzzle in our hands, so many clues, yet the complete picture eludes us.
So where do her thorns fit in then?
Well, I imagine they must sit at the very center of it all. You remember the voice we all heard while we were inside the wedge, don't you?
Yeah, I remember. It was the will of Dana's astral energy come to life. Or that's what we all thought.
Right. And from that, we're able to hypothesize how vast concentrations of astral energy can become sentient. Let's return to when we found Shion in Pelagian. When her thorns went wild, they contained far more astral energy than any mere Renin would normally have inside them.
So you think those thorns might be alive too? That their will is what keeps her from dying? But why would they want to destroy the entire world?
As for that, I really cannot say for certain. Its goals still remain a mystery. It may be a mere fluke that her maiden powers have been able to contain it thus far.
You know, I've noticed since we've met that you like figuring out riddles.
Can you blame me? When one realizes that the world they once thought to be true is but a mere facade, they can't help but seek the truth. Especially when that deception has led to others getting hurt.
Dohalim?
I imagine the remaining pieces of the puzzle that we seek rest somewhere within Lenegis. As for what the final picture will look like, who can say? I think it's best we not dwell on it too much for the time being.
Right.
How you holding up?
Who, me?
Yes, you. You took a hit from those thorns again, didn't you?
Oh, that? That was nothing.
Compared to what Shion's going through, you mean? Still, even if you yourself might be willing to endure that kind of pain, that doesn't mean Shion wants to have to see you get hurt by her thorns, you know?
Yeah, I know. I'll be careful.
Shion doesn't know how lucky she is to have you around, you know? Dashing in to save her at the last minute.
Yeah, very funny.
I'm being serious. You went up and held her close like you still had that mask on, and you didn't even bat an eye. She really needed that. That's what I mean when I said you saved her. Just like you did with the rest of us.
I just want for Shion what we all have. The ability to touch someone without the fear of killing them. Those thorns have robbed her of the kind of everyday things we all take for granted. And it's not right.
You can say that again. It may be normal for us, but that doesn't make it any less special or important for her. I hope she gets what she wants. I have my own dreams, but a world without her, where she dies so we can all survive, isn't a world I want to live in.
Agreed. It's like more and more keeps getting taken from her, and I'm done with it.
Did you know?
You mean about Shion?
Yeah, I didn't have the slightest idea. I mean, every once in a while I thought something seemed a little off, but I never could have imagined. It's like a completely different world was spinning around me and I couldn't even see it.
You and me both. I mean, I knew something was bothering her, but I could never quite figure out what it was.
You? But you're the one always looking out for her, aren't you?
That's what I thought. But in reality, I didn't understand it all. What I thought was helping and being there for her was actually just driving her into a corner.
At least you figured it out in time, though, right?
I don't think we're out of the woods yet. But yeah, you're right. We brought her back from the edge, and we're going to stop those thorns from taking her, no matter what.
Yeah, with all of us together, there's nothing we can't handle. Shion, the world, we can save everyone. And I mean it when I say we, Alphen.
I know. No lone wolfing it.
Hey, you're the expert on what my dad would say. Do you think he'd pat me on the back or tell me off?
Zephyr, I don't think that he'd have that much to say, to be honest. You're your own man now, Law. And you've already made up your own mind about what you want.
I guess he couldn't say anything even if he wanted to.
Law.
Sorry. I guess those of us amongst the living have enough problems to deal with, don't we? We'll need all our strength to save Shion. I'll probably end up worrying again at some point, but I guess I'll think it over more then. That okay?
Yeah, I think it is. Can't sleep?
After everything we just heard, how could I?
Fair enough.
Xian's had to deal with so much on her own. Even when we were all laughing and celebrating, she just kept quiet and didn't say anything. I thought she was keeping her distance because of her thorns. That it was because she didn't want to hurt anybody by getting too close. I just figured that that was the type of person she was, you know? But it turned out to be none of that. All this time, she felt like she had to die and sacrifice herself for the greater good. But even then, she didn't think she could say anything to us about it.
I know.
She was so alone this entire time. How could I call her a friend and yet be so completely blind to everything she was going through?
I'm sure it made her happy, knowing you were there for her.
You really think so?
Yeah, I do. If she didn't think of us as friends, I don't think she could have ever opened up to us like that. You were a good friend to her before, and you'll be an even better one now.
Yeah, I really hope so. I want to be the best I can for her. When you think about it, we were all alone in our own way. But over time, we've all found ways to let each other into our lives. I hope Xian's able to do that one day too. No, I mean, I hope she's able to do that more. Lots and lots more. I think it'd be really nice if we could all just be there to support each other when it really counts. And forget about our grudges and pain.
Finwell. Hey, you doing all right?
I seem to cause nothing but worry. As much as I try to look like I have things under control, everyone still worries about me.
You're not the only one.
Hey, do you remember the first time you said I was your friend?
No? When was that? Sorry, I can't remember.
That's okay. It came so naturally to you, I'm not surprised you forgot. I was different back then. The Danans were not even people to me, and I knew I would always be alone. But in that room with Deadheim, when you called me your friend, it just shattered the wall that I'd built up around me. Because until that moment, I'd only seen you as a means to an end. I thought of you as a way to use the blazing sword, and to obtain the Renis Alma. But after that day, one time became two, and before I knew it, you'd made a habit of calling me and Dohalim your friends. It didn't matter that we were Renans. You cared about us as you would any other people. Then, everyone else started to call me their friend too. To think of me as their friend. Before then, I never even dreamed I could have that. I didn't want to die and lose you all. But I also didn't want to live if it meant you would all die in my place.
Xian.
But then, I realized I'd only really been thinking of myself that entire time. After saying how I felt, and hearing what you all had to say, I finally understood that. Don't worry, it's okay. I'm not planning on dying anymore. I've met too many people along the way who I truly care about to give in now. So I'll fight. For Dana and for myself. I'll fight against my fate to preserve our future. And I'll win, come hell or high water. I don't know how we're going to do it, but I won't let the world end because of me.
It's going to be a long, hard road ahead, Shion. Our fight won't be over until everyone, both Danans and Renans, can finally live in peace. But I swear I'll be there with you until the very end.
Thank you.
Remember what we learned back in Calaglia? There's no wall so high that we can't break it down.
Yeah, I think you may be right about that.
Everyone well rested? Then let's go. We depart for Lenegis.
Well, it's the moment of truth.
This lady better hold together once we're up in the air.
Law, don't say that! You're going to jinx us!
Speaking of which, Alphen, this bucket of bolts got a name?
A name? You know, I'm not sure she ever had one. I never really thought about it.
Well, after all the trouble we went through to find her, we should give her one, right? I was thinking something like...
Fall Knights.
Huh?
It means owl in the ancient tongue. Literally, the one drawn to the skies.
I like it. Sounds perfect for our little escapade.
Not sure I'm completely convinced, but... well, it's as good a name as any. From now on, she'll be known as the Fall Knights.
Okay, people. We have two goals. First, we need to get to Lenegis and make the Renans finally leave Dana alone. And then, we need to figure out the truth behind Shion's thorns and find a way to save her. Sound good? All right, then let's go.
You know, I can still hardly believe it.
Believe what?
I mean, just look at it. The whole of existence, crammed inside a tiny frame.
Now that you mention it, I guess you're right. It does look more like a painting than a living, breathing world.
From up here, all the struggles we've been through feel so insignificant.
Nothing like realizing how small you are to put everything into perspective. Kinda makes the differences between the Renans and the Danans feel pretty small too, huh?
How much longer until we reach Lenegis?
There are better ways to use your time than napping. We should take a moment to familiarize ourselves with the facilities on board before arrival.
Good idea. The starship may end up serving as our base of operations once we're down there. Think you'll be all right with the controls?
You mean the one set to automatic pilot? I dare say I'll manage. I'm basically just here to supervise.
In that case, she's all yours.
Everything okay, Shion? You seem a little different.
Different? Like in a bad way different?
No, not at all. You seem more driven lately, like you found a zest for life. It suits you.
You okay? Feeling airsick?
Actually, now that you mention it, not at all. These starships are a remarkably smooth ride, all things considered. Nothing like being at sea, thank goodness.
Glad to hear it. That device there caught your eye, huh?
I was just wondering what it is. It looks big enough to fit a person inside of it.
It's a healing pod. It fixes injuries and illnesses.
Oh, you don't say. Well, that should definitely come in handy if any of us get injured while we're down there. Alphen? Was it something I said?
No, I was just thinking back to when I escaped Lenegis, that's all. What with the ceremony and losing control, I was a total mess. Niori laid me inside here.
So, you're saying you got in this thing straight after escaping? But that mean... you were inside for 300 years?
Yes, it sounds crazy, I know. But don't even ask me why I stayed asleep all that time.
That's definitely quite some lie-in, all right. But still, whether you meant to or not, I sure am glad that it's this century that you finally woke up in.
What do you mean?
With the amount of fighting we've done, we would have never made it this far without you. And not only that, but... Alphen, can you recall back to what it is that I said to you? Back when we left Menancia? About the dream of coexistence, and needing to learn what it entailed?
Of course. That's why you came with us, right? To learn what you couldn't at home.
Even in that time, I was well aware that what I was living was a lie. But at the same time, I also felt really compelled to fulfill my brother's wishes. I'll always remember him fondly. But the coexistence we're fighting for isn't for him. It's for people now, and those still to come. The world's bigger than just Menancia. My dream is for all Danans, wherever they might be, to be free. If I've learned anything on this journey, it's that. And the one who brought me along was you, Alphen. I'll forever be grateful to you.
Well, we're not out of this forest just yet. You should probably save your thanks. At least, until we've dealt with the Red Woman.
I know. But whatever we find when we get down there, I'm through looking the other way.
Kisara.
Probably getting a little ahead of myself, huh? Let's take things one step at a time.
Hey, Alphen, listen to this! So Law and I were just talking and...
Hey, shut up!
What's got Law all flustered?
Only that he's afraid of flying, the big baby. And after all that fuss he made about naming the ship, too.
Hey, I never said I was scared. I just think it's, you know, a little unsettling how we're going to be cruising through space in a glorified tin can. That's all.
It's a starship, dummy. That's what it's supposed to do. I don't think there's anything strange about it.
Well, maybe you're the one with the problem then.
Guys. I'm no expert, but I think we can trust Renin technology. It got me to Dana in one piece, remember?
Oh, that's a good point. If you think so, Alphen, it must be okay. Don't you agree, Law?
Hard to argue with that, seeing how you hitched a ride in one of these things before, Alphen. It's just wrong, okay?
Is something wrong?
No. I was merely thinking how it had been 7 years, that's all.
You mean since you became a lord and left Lenegis? I guess even someone like you can get homesick, huh?
I am as prone to sentimentality as any other. Tell me, though. You too have a history with Lenegis. A traumatic one, no less. This trip will probably mean facing up to some difficult emotions. Doesn't that frighten you?
Well, it is a place where I took the lives of countless people. I'd be lying if I said I hadn't thought about it. But I can't keep running forever. The past is what it is. There's no changing that. But the future's what we make it.
I see.
Dohalim?
Forgive me. I was wrong to pry. We have more pressing matters to address. Come back and speak to me when you finish looking around the ship.
We'll be going to Lenegis soon.
This must feel like a homecoming of sorts to you, huh? What was life on Lenegis like back then? You know, before you came to Dana.
Let's just say, I don't have many happy memories. I've had thorns my whole life, for as long as I can remember. They called it treatment, but in truth, they were just using me as a guinea pig for their research.
You mean, they experimented on you?
That's right. All I was to them was a riddle to solve. They poked and prodded me, trying to figure out what triggered my thorns or changed the form they took. Day in and day out, every single day, one test after another. I'm still surprised they didn't try to dissect me. The look they gave me whenever one of them touched my skin. How could I forget it? Reeling from the pain, like I was a monster or something. Some existence, huh? A blight on any I touched, helplessly complicit in their pain. I thought things couldn't get any worse, but then they did. I started to have nightmares, visions of the coming apocalypse. Is it any wonder I lacked a cheery disposition? Unable to so much as touch another soul. Loneliness was my best friend. Sure, I survived, but with the knowledge that one day I'd be swallowed up by oblivion. And that's when it hit me. If I was going to die, then it should mean something. If I have to sacrifice myself to save the world, so be it.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you relive that.
No, it's fine. I'm in a much better place now.
You say it's your destiny to die so that others can live. But why not the other way around? Why shouldn't we be the ones dying to save you?
Are you crazy? Why would you sacrifice your life for...
That's exactly my point. Why should you have to give up your life just because you drew the short straw in the destiny stakes? How is that even right? It's that logic that's used to justify slavery, as if some of us were just meant to be sacrificed. This struggle was never about saving only ourselves. But that doesn't mean we have to give up our own lives to save everyone else's either. If we're doing this to protect people, if we're doing this to save the world from destruction, then that has to include saving each other as well.
A world free of sacrifice. That's what you've been fighting for all along, isn't it?
Not just me. We're in this together, remember? This fight is yours too, Xion. If we're going to win, everyone has to win. There can be no room for losers in this fight. Now I see it. The true nature of our struggle.
A victory without losers. But that means that a Danon victory over Rena can't be the end. Do you think we can pull it off?
You bet we can pull it off. We have to. It's the only hope we have of things ever changing.
Yeah, you're right. No one's ever changed the future without aiming for the stars. We can do this. Together.
Is everyone about ready? We'll soon be making preparations to land.
Before we do that, just what exactly should we expect when we get down there?
Kisara has a point. Now that I think of it, I don't know the first thing about Lenegis.
I'd like to hear more too. It's been centuries since I was last there, and they didn't exactly give me the grand tour.
Very well. First and foremost, Lenegis was the base of operations in charge of the crown contest on Dana. Of course, it also happens to be a city in its own right, complete with its own independent society. Its social structure is based on a strict hierarchy. Put simply, the strength of an individual's astral arts carries great weight.
Enough to determine someone's social rank, you mean? But astral arts are innate, right? So people's positions are fixed at birth.
They can be honed with the right training, and there are admittedly other factors at play. But yes, that's basically the gist. As a result, family lines that churn out lords and their contenders wield disproportionate influence, and those lineages are treated as nobility.
Those capable of only weak astral arts are effectively an underclass, denied the right to descend to Dana even if they wanted to. Still, even the lowest rung on the Renin ladder is considered superior to being a Danon. Keep that in mind down there.
Thanks for the warning. As a lord, Dohalim must have been pretty high up in the pecking order, right? What about you, Shion?
Come on, you've seen her skill with astral arts. You really need to ask?
Fair point.
On arts alone, you're right. I'd have been sitting pretty. But you're forgetting my thorns. They weren't exactly an invitation to high society.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's refreshing to be around someone who says what they're thinking. Life's less complicated that way.
Jeez, give backhanded compliments much?
Wait a second. Are you? He is! Lost blushing!
I am not!
Of course, separating people into castes based on something arbitrary like arts is discrimination at its worst. As if such simplistic criteria could ever be a measure of someone's worth.
So this red woman, are we expecting to find her on Lenegis?
I would wager so. Lenegis is too deeply involved in all this to discard the possibility. Chances are she's also connected to the Renis Alma being stolen from us in Pelegion.
If the Renis Alma is being used to exploit Dana, we need to take it back at all costs.
That red woman's got a lot to answer for. Just as well I've got a ton of questions.
We're about to land. The descent could be a little bumpy, so brace yourselves.
If there are clues about your thorns out there, Shion, we'll find them. There's no one here. I wasn't expecting a welcome mat, but still.
Lenegis's infrastructure is largely automated. Besides, people won't be expecting incoming traffic while the crown contest is still underway.
Do you think anyone realizes that we're here?
We may not have received a royal welcome, but I doubt our entrance went unnoticed. Don't let your guard down.
I really hope we don't have to fight anybody while we're here.
So now what? We've come all this way on a hunch that this red woman is here, right? And if we're lucky, the Renis Alma too. Any idea where we should start looking?
There is an area of the city that is accessible only to the Sovereigns, known as the Forbidden Zone. That seems as good a place as any for us to start.
Forbidden? What are they hiding?
I don't know, hence my desire to find out. Fortunately, we just so happen to have a Sovereign in our midst. In any case, changing the shape of a huge structure such as Lenegis would have required an immense source of power.
Then you think that source might have been the Renis Alma?
Precisely. Alphen said that he remembered the Renis Alma being used in the spirit channeling ceremony 3 centuries ago. Whatever the ceremony's purpose, if preparations are underway for it to be held once more, then the Renis Alma might be in the same place as last time, possibly together with the Red Woman. Hiding something of that worth in the residential quarters would only court trouble. In which case...
It stands to reason we should be looking somewhere normally out of bounds. Is that it?
Indeed.
But it's been over 300 years since I was made a sovereign. You can't seriously think I'll be able to waltz right into the place after all this time.
There's only one way to find out. If there's even a chance you can get us in, I say we give it a shot.
Shion's right. Who knows? We might even find a clue to her thorns while we're at it.
All right. It's not like we're swimming in leads, so let's try to track down the Forbidden Zone. Beyond that wall lies a city full of Renins. The capital city where Shion and Dohalim used to live, no less. Who knows what we'll find on the other side?
Thinking about what could be lurking out here is giving me the heebie-jeebies.
For such a loudmouth, you sure can be a worrywart at times.
Oh, I'm sorry. How stupid of me for wanting us to stay safe.
Would you two children stop squabbling? Or do you want everyone to know we're here?
So how many Renins actually live in this place?
I couldn't tell you exactly, though not as many as you might expect. Machines and Zeugles take care of most of the city's basic functions.
There's Zeugles out here too, huh? Sounds like we can't afford to let our guard down after all.
What in the world?
This being Renin territory, I was prepared for a lot of things to look different. But this is a bit more than I anticipated.
The very foundations of the city have shifted. What could have caused this?
When Lenegis changed shape, it must have had an effect on the interior too.
Maybe when they sent the wedge down to Dana?
But they wouldn't move around the places where people live. These are their homes, right?
I would think the citizens themselves didn't have much say in the matter. Either way, locating the Forbidden Zone just became that much trickier.
Dohalim? Is that you?
Avakir, I'm glad to see you're well.
So it is you! But why are you here? Shouldn't you be down on Dana participating in the crown contest? And these people!
So you haven't heard what happened on Dana, then?
Heard what?
Someone you know?
An old friend.
Hey, Dohalim, don't tell me you've started keeping company with...
They're with me. More importantly, what's happened here?
I'm really not sure.
The city's foundations began to shift without warning, and now everything looks like this. We're all waiting for the Sovereign to tell us what's happening, but so far...
Avakir, listen to me. We're looking for the Forbidden Zone. Do you have any idea where we might find it?
The Forbidden Zone? What business could you possibly have there?
Trust me. The less you know, the better.
You're just the same as ever. I wish I could help, but what with the changed topography, I can barely locate my own home. Let alone the Forbidden Zone.
Very well. It looks like we'll have to find the way there ourselves.
Have you seen Faria yet?
No.
I see. Well, nothing much has changed with her. If anything, she's probably even more...
I can well imagine.
Why did you come back? You know it can only result in pain for you both.
I've no doubt of that.
You really are the same as ever. Fine, I understand. Just don't say I didn't warn you. And take care of yourself, okay, Do?
So who's Faria?
Law?
If what Avakir said is true, it would seem the people of Lenegis are being kept in the dark about what's happening down on Dana.
They seem to be just as clueless about what's going on up here in their own world. Despite the fact that it's actually here that the wedge originally came from.
We need more information. Let's talk to the citizens, see what we can find out.
While we're at it, we can ask them about the Red Woman, too.
And don't forget about finding the way to the Forbidden Zone either.
Let's leave the talking to Shion. We can't have a bunch of Danins poking their noses around.
Good idea. I think that's for the best.
I shall assist.
You sure?
Being a lord on Lenegis has its advantages.
Right. Then we'll leave it to you two. The Danins among us should probably keep our heads down.
What if people freak out?
I shall explain it away by saying I'm leading you.
What are we, dogs?
What could be so important? It's worth destroying people's livelihoods and homes in the process. It's just... unbelievable. Uprooting an entire city as if it were mere building blocks. Someone's got an awful lot of questions to answer.
From how it looks, they must be siphoning off astral energy from Dana, and then sending it to Rena.
But why do all this? What for? Surely they can't be using all that energy for the crown contest.
Whatever their purpose, disrupting their siphoning process alone won't be sufficient. Not while we still don't know what their endgame is.
He's right. We need to stop this from happening ever again.
This Forbidden Zone might be where we find some answers, right? So what are we waiting for? Let's get moving!
You heard him. We don't have time to stop and chat. Let's move.
So, I've been wondering, do you think when Lenegis was built, it was even made with people living here in mind?
What do you mean?
Well, none of this happened by coincidence, right? They must have designed it to transform like this. But then, if they knew people were going to live here, you'd think they would have taken that into consideration, to avoid all this chaos.
Ordinarily, yes. You'd think so. Trust me, as far as we were concerned, Lenegis was our home, nothing more. No one knew about all this. It makes you wonder whether the city was just built on as an afterthought. But if so, to what exactly?
Sorry. That probably sounded weird, huh?
Not at all. Sometimes it takes an outsider's eye to help you notice what you've been missing all along. This place is a mystery, that's for sure. Something tells me we'll find answers where we're going, though.
Yeah, you're right, Shion. I'm sure we will.
Everything will be okay now.
I know the basics of healing arts, but my skills pale in comparison.
Oh, dear me. What an unspeakable mess this has all become. Just look at the state of our city. Even the Zeugles have stopped heeding our commands. Whatever did we do to deserve this?
You really have no clue what might have caused this?
Would that I have. Alas, there was no warning, no prior decree. His Highness must have deemed it unnecessary for us to know. We have no choice but to grin and bear it. But do my eyes deceive me? Could I really be standing in the presence of his lordship, Dohalim of the House Ilkaris? I believed he was on Dana.
Your eyes do not deceive you. It is I, one and the same. I have returned to fulfill a special duty, the details of which I cannot divulge.
As your lordship wishes. First Lanagus mutates beyond recognition, now this unexpected visit. The Sovereign's plans are inscrutable indeed. The Ilkaris house has produced a great many lords over the centuries. I shall be praying for your victory in the latest crown contest.
Your good wishes do me an honor.
Your lordship! Oh, what a great honor it is to finally meet you. I descended to Dana during the last crown contest also. Alas, when the contender I was backing failed to clinch the title, I returned. I witnessed the deaths of so many slaves.
Indeed.
Sorry to interrupt, but we're looking for a woman dressed all in red. Have you seen anyone of that description?
All red, eh? No, I can't say I remember anyone like that. I imagine she'd stand out somewhat, too.
Yeah. What about down on Dana during the crown contest? You didn't see anyone like that hanging around the lord you were serving?
What's with all these questions? I've never seen her, okay? Not recently or otherwise. Why do you want to find her anyway?
Never mind. Forget I asked. Sorry to take up your time. Is everything okay? You look a little lost.
Hmm? Oh, yes. I can't seem to find my way home, is all. I was just about to make my umpteenth attempt at a new route.
I was hoping to head this way myself. The situation is a real pain, huh?
I suppose the Sovereign knows best. I daren't stay here too long, though. A lower caste can only linger around these parts for so long before I outstay my welcome. I was hoping to avoid it, but maybe I'll have to go that way after all.
You mean you know another way round?
Lord Dohalim Ilkaris! But how? Last I heard, you were in Dana competing in the crown contest.
Yes, strange, isn't it? If you know another route, we'd be grateful if you could tell us.
But of course. Please forgive me. There's a wall that sprung up ahead of here, with what looks to be an entrance in it. I thought maybe it was a passageway between the different quarters, but I've no way of knowing for sure.
It's worth investigating, at least. shall go and assess the situation. In the meantime, wait for me here. If it looks safe, I'll come and let you know.
You'd really do that for me? A lord troubling himself for someone of my lowly status?
Our lot in life is of little consequence. We are both Renin, first and foremost.
Oh, why yes, my lord. Thank you.
Well, we've canvassed the city for information. What do you think?
No one has the faintest idea what's happened to the city after all. They haven't heard the news about the crown contest either.
You'd think that info would easily find its way up here. Has it always been like that?
Not to this extent, which would indicate that something's suppressing the truth, that Lenegis is under some kind of control.
Given everything that's happened to their city, the people here seem weirdly okay with it all.
Yeah, that one guy even said his Zoogle had stopped listening to him. If that's true, these people are in big trouble.
Everything that happens here is attributed to the Sovereign's will. It's the way people have been conditioned. Their belief runs deep. Nothing happens devoid of a reason. To them, it's all part of the Sovereign's grand plan.
The Sovereign's plan. There is one thing I'm still not sure about. Just who is this person ruling over Lenegis?
The Sovereign, of course. He rules from Rena while presiding over both Rena and Lenegis.
Without the lords or anyone in the middle doing his dirty work? Isn't Rena at least the same size as Dana? That's a pretty big dominion for one person to rule over. I would have thought ruling Lenegis alone would be difficult enough.
The points you make are valid, though I confess I'd never given it much thought before. Here, the Sovereign's total authority is as natural as night turning to day. Come to think of it, I know nothing of the nature of how Rena itself is. Shion, have you ever been... No, forgive me. Have you met or crossed paths with, or even heard of someone who's actually made a visit to the homeland?
No, I haven't.
Neither have I. In which case, I would imagine that... But no, surely not. Can it really be that no citizen of Lenegis has ever been there?
Hold up, what are you getting at, Dohalim?
Assuming what I believe to be correct, it's possible that no one on Lenegis has ever laid eyes on the actual Renin homeworld itself. No one but the Sovereign, that is.
But what about trade and communication? There's got to be a flow back and forth, surely.
Not if the Sovereign is imposing his will on Lenegis single-handedly. It could be a one-way street.
But I thought you said that the Sovereign's all the way over on Rena. If that's the case, can he really rule directly over Lenegis from so far away? What if something were to happen to the city, like now?
I'm beginning to wonder what the nature of this Sovereign even is. Alphen said he was forced into the role, right? Just before the ceremony. But Sovereign is also the title given to the almighty Renin ruler. So which one is it?
Whoever wins the crown contest inherits the throne from his or her predecessor, before becoming ruler over all of Rena and Lenegis. Thereafter, that individual is known as the Sovereign. Though, it would appear that the current ruler has gone silent. As for how Volron factors into all this, at this point, I no longer know what to believe.
3 centuries ago, I became the Sovereign here on Lenegis. No, not just became, I was forced to. Me, a Danon. 300 years later, we cross paths with Volron, who also bears the Sovereign's crest. That's not the only thing we have in common. We both became Sovereign without winning the crown contest.
Do you think Volron was made Sovereign for the same reason? Because of that ceremony?
I can't say for sure, but it certainly sounds like it.
But that would mean that 2 Sovereigns would need to exist at any one time. One whose job it is to rule, and the other for ceremonial purposes. We never did see Volron's body back in Ganeth Heros. Is a new ceremony underway with Volron at its center this time? Could that be what's causing all this strange activity here?
Wait a second. You don't think Volron and the Red Woman are working together, do you? The ceremony can't go forward without the Renis Alma. The same one that the Red Woman stole.
There's something else the ceremony needs. A maiden. And unless there's another one out there aside from me...
Questions, questions, and yet more questions. Ones that it seems will remain unanswered until we can establish the Sovereign's identity.
If the Forbidden Zone really is off-limits to everyone but the Sovereign, that seems as good a place as any to start. For the sake of liberating Dana, too.
Then it's decided. That's where we need to go.
One of the citizens mentioned a passage that she thought might lead to another section of the city. It could point us in the right direction. Let's go find it! I didn't realize Renans oppressed their own kind, too.
And yet, weirdly, none of them seem to mind. Am I the only one who finds that strange?
It is the way things have always been, so no one thinks to question it. You have experience in that regard yourself, do you not?
Unquestioning acceptance of your own servitude. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Even so, the quality of life here seems much higher than any Danon city we visited. I used to think it was impossible to build an ideal society without wealth. But I suppose having it doesn't always mean people are treated fairly either.
More to the point, not a single citizen seems to have even heard of the Red Woman.
What if she's not here? What if it turns out we're looking in the wrong place entirely?
It's still too early to say anything for sure.
For all we know, she might be able to blend in, move around unnoticed. I say we hold off judgment until we've exhausted every avenue.
Tell me, Dohalim, has that skill of yours got a name?
And what skill would this be, pray tell?
You know, when you're talking to people around town. The way they suddenly become putty in your hands.
I'm afraid I don't quite follow.
I do. It's called friendly intimidation. Look imposing and speak in a deep, booming voice, and presto, you'll have people wrapped around your finger in no time.
I would never stoop to such scandalous tricks. Any feelings of intimidation are solely in the eye of the beholder.
So there is a knack to it! How do you learn it? Can anyone do it?
Now you've got me curious. Is there special training to master?
Let's see. An obsession with being elegant is a must. Oh, and it helps to be old-fashioned, too. Bonus points if you speak in a way no one can understand.
If you've a bone to pick with me, it'd be quicker to just come out and say it.
What? They look up to you, that's all. I'm just helping them along.
Hey! What's got into Alvin and Law all of a sudden?
I can barely understand a word they're saying. And what's with the weird poses? Was it something they ate?
I hope you're willing to take the blame for this one.
I wasn't expecting them to take me so seriously. I'll go and have a word with them.
With nobody left to run the show, I wonder what the people here are supposed to do. I mean, there's sovereigns up on the Renan homeworld, and all their lords were sent to Dana.
But Dohalim was a lord, right?
Only current acting lords have power. Renan society is quite strict about such matters.
Even if the other lords were still around, I doubt they'd be able to do much about the situation.
I wonder what they'd think if they were here to see Lenegis now. Balsif, Cannabelt, Almadria, and Volron. Now that I think of it, aside from Dohalim, we know next to nothing about the other lords.
Well, yeah, why would we? To us Danans, they were just enemies we needed to overthrow. Nothing more.
I know. But seeing Renans in their own city, going about their day-to-day lives, it gets you thinking.
It feels strange to imagine the lords living here too, you mean?
Yeah, a little.
If you're that curious about them, why not try inquiring with some of the locals? Every lord in their household has their share of supporters here on Lenegis. And luckily for us, the people here are unaware of the events on Dana, which means they should be more inclined to talk to us.
Yes! Yes!
Balsef had it in him to care about someone other than himself? Really?
It's possible. A change in position can do much to alter one's perspective.
So even he might have had something he wanted to protect.
I guess she intended to spread it throughout all of Lenegis then.
Good thing the lines were down so she couldn't.
It almost sounded like she was praising them, too.
Maybe there was more to the guy than at first glance.
I shall refrain from commenting.
What? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ganabelt was so horrible to people. Yet he was invested in helping Rena succeed. Doesn't that seem just a little inconsistent?
I'm perhaps biased in this matter, I admit. However, in my mind, while all lords vie to become the next sovereign, they're also meant to serve as guardians of all of Rena.
It seems like Ganabelt also had people he cared about until the very end.
So why couldn't he extend that to us Danans?
This area doesn't look as badly damaged as that other district we went through.
Indeed, the effects of Lenegis' transformation appear to be less pronounced here. Or, viewed another way, this area was simply luckier.
Pardon me.
I guess her willingness to stoop to any low came from a survival of the fittest worldview.
And some people here not only shared her belief, but championed it as morally right, too.
That doesn't make it true. Too bad they couldn't see through her.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Okay.
It seems like the people on Lenegis don't really know much about Volron either.
I remember being quite surprised when the Lord of Ganath Harros changed so abruptly.
Didn't you have any doubts that something suspicious was going on?
On the contrary. Remember, we Renans are raised to accept everything at face value.
When you think about it, the families of Renan lords must see them differently than the rest of us.
Yeah, despite the brutality they're known for.
They must have had a lot on their shoulders, carrying all the weight and responsibilities of Renan society.
Renans live in a world where strength and power determine their position in the social hierarchy, so they tend to grow up fiercely competitive. But their loyalty to their people is also strong. It's what brings them together against outside forces, and nothing exemplifies that more than the Lords.
That's what makes them the guardians of all of Rena, so to speak.
Right. It's the same reason Balsif hated my guts, and Ganabelt went after you, because we're threats to Rena.
Guess that makes you an even bigger oddball than we thought.
So, Alphen, have you gained anything from all of this?
Yeah. I think it's made me realize that the Lords were all people, too. Balsif and the others, they all had their own circumstances to deal with as they went through life.
Yeah, but still, just because they had loved ones in their lives doesn't mean...
I know. What they did was horrible. I'm not trying to dispute that. But at the same time, they weren't incomprehensible monsters either. They were individuals, just like the rest of us. So I guess what I'm trying to say is...
You're saying that they weren't bad because they were Renans, or because they were terrible monsters. Even if they did terrible things, they were still just people.
Rinwell.
Am I wrong?
Not at all.
Being a Danon doesn't make you a good person. And being a Renan doesn't make you a bad one. I think that's something we've all seen.
Xion and Dohalim definitely make a good case for it.
And I'm going to keep doing my best to make sure I earn that trust, as a fellow human being above all else.
What's this thing? There's something I just don't get.
What is it?
The crown contest itself has always gone ahead as planned, right? In which case, the current sovereign of Rena should be whoever it was that won the previous contest.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, who was it then?
Hanfricht Milgras, the former Lord of Cyslodia, if memory serves.
So then this Hanfricht whatchamacallem, he's the current ruler of Rena?
The last I heard, yes. Though, admittedly, I haven't actually seen him since the end of the previous contest.
You're saying that ever since becoming sovereign, he's never actually shown himself on Lenegis?
I guess over holocom maybe, but not in the flesh. Same thing goes for the Sovereign that came before him.
Now that you mention it, I don't recall anyone ever visiting Lenegis from the motherland, Sovereign or otherwise.
And that never struck you as a little bit odd?
When you live here, it's as if you're conditioned not to notice all these strange quirks and discrepancies. The question is then, by whom? And to what end?
A new Renis Alma is supposedly created to coincide with every crown contest, meaning each victor is awarded their very own. In other words, if that's true, there should be as many of the things out there as there have been contests.
True, but going on what we witnessed in Pelagian, it didn't look like the sort of thing that could be made to order. But if even the victor's speeches have been part of some grand deception, then where are they? Quite frankly, I'm not even sure what to believe anymore.
You and me both. Though we are Renin by blood, neither of us even knew that such a thing as a Dark Master Core existed, remember?
With any luck, the Forbidden Zone might give us some answers.
No use standing around here chatting about it then. Let's get a move on.
Doe?
Faria.
Varia? Isn't that the person that Avakir guy was...
But why are you here? Wait. Don't tell me you've given up on the crown contest and come crawling back home from Dana already. Nothing to say? Even though you were willing to kill Tarnigan to secure your position as Lord, you still...
Kill?
I'm here to take care of something. If you wish to continue this conversation, I only ask that you wait until I'm finished.
Oh, of course. You always did prefer to take the coward's way out. Even after 7 years and living on that Danon rock, you haven't changed one bit. But let me tell you, I haven't changed either. Not a day's gone by the past 7 years that I haven't hated you.
If killing me will bring you peace, then so be it.
Dohalim, what the hell are you saying?
First, I have business to take care of. If it's vengeance you seek, I will grant you it. But you must wait. My sins are legion. Let me finish what I came to do. Then you have my word. I will let you do whatever brings you peace.
Sure, that's it. Run away like always. You don't even have the courage to die. No wonder you leave it to someone else. You're just a coward!
Dohalim.
I apologize that you had to witness that.
Is it true? What she said about you killing someone?
Each of us have our pasts. I am no exception.
Before, back in Menancia, you mentioned having taken a friend's life over the throne. Is that what she meant?
The mistakes I made there were not my first, and may not be my last. I will say no more.
Did you mean what you said? About letting her take your life if she wanted to?
She has more right to my life than anyone.
But you can't just...
Whatever happens, I have sworn to put an end to the crown contest, and to ensure continued coexistence in Menancia. I have no intention of expiring before I do so. There are far too many questions I still seek answers to. Besides, you have just as much reason to kill me as she does.
Dohalim!
Forgive me. Some things are best left unsaid.
think I'll try to make that new recipe with this.
All right, but I'll decide how spicy it is.
Wow, this place is beautiful!
Yeah, it must be some sort of rest and leisure area for the locals.
You think? Man, these Renin sure know how to live it up, don't they?
Is something the matter, Dohalim?
Before I went down to Dana, my friends and I, we used to gather at this very spot and play music together. Avakir, Faria, and Tarnigan. That was a lifetime ago now.
Tarnigan. He was the one that Faria mentioned, right?
He was once my dearest, closest friend. As well as Faria's betrothed. Despite Faria's lower-class upbringing, she possesses a tremendous talent for music. Entranced by her playing, I helped her overcome her sense of inferiority and introduced her to Tarnigan and Avakir. It was a time of great joy. 4 people bound only by their love of music, with no care for social standing. Only the next song, the next melody.
A friendship based on mutual respect, and a society where everyone is a prisoner to their social class. You really are different, Dohalim.
I suppose it's natural you would see it as strange.
I would have, once. Now, I think the idea of breaking away from society's constraints and choosing your friends based solely on affection is something beautiful that's worth cherishing. Besides, it was that way of looking at the world that laid the foundations for coexistence in Menancia.
Your praise does me too great an honor. I was merely following the wishes of my own heart. And even then, it only lasted until the crown contest began. After that, Tarnigan and I became fierce competitors for the position of Lord. Tarnigan had fallen for Faria. By becoming Lord, he aimed to wrest her from her humble origins and raise her to the highest echelons of society. But fate was not so benevolent.
What happened?
Tarnigan was no match for me in combat. On a level playing field, he wouldn't have stood a chance. But he was desperate and low on options, and he couldn't stand the thought of defeat.
You mean he resorted to dirty tactics to try to win, right? But then why does Faria think... Wait, don't tell me she doesn't know.
How could I tell her? Combined with the trauma of losing her beloved, and by her friend's hand, no less. She would have been devastated.
So instead you let her go on hating you, so she could use that hate as a crutch for her grief?
That's not the same as running away, though.
It is exactly the same. Unable to face the loss of my friend and the burden of my duty. Instead, I decried my fate and looked away from what I'd done. As for what happened after, that you already know.
But if you hadn't become Lord, Menancia wouldn't be what it is now. The Danans there would still be suffering under Renin oppression like before.
Shion's right. What other lord would have treated me as you did? Anyone else and I would have been dead long ago. You've saved so many people, Dohalim. You saved me. It's thanks to you that I'm here today. So, try not to blame yourself. The burden you've placed on your own shoulders is too much for anyone to bear.
Frank as always. But I shall do my best to heed your advice.
Do you think he'll be all right?
Yeah, I think so. He's got Kisara.
It's important to have someone like that.
I didn't realize how difficult it is just to be there for someone.
Sometimes just knowing someone's on your side can be enough. And he knows, Shion. I promise he does.
I hope you're right. Alphen.
Yeah?
I never appreciated until recently just how much you were always there to support me.
It goes both ways. You've helped me keep going more times than I can count.
Maybe, but I still wanted to say thank you.
I see a medic and supply officer over there. If they know you're with me, they'll likely offer their assistance.
you guys checked your equipment lately?